Hey Karen, this is Lori with Soul Sisters Digital Design. Thanks for chatting with me earlier. I wanted to go ahead and get this video out. I apologize for it being so late, but I wanted to get it in today before my deadline. And it's really to show you how your business is stacking up against your competition online, and also to give you some steps that you can take to improve things. So as Google crawls the web, it is really looking for three things: content, citations, and backlinks. So those are the things I'm going to talk about today. Now, for content, I'm really just referring to the words and images on your site. Google likes to see between 1,500 and 2,000 words kind of at a minimum on the page to give it a really good idea of what you do and where you are. The exact amount is going to depend on the competition and also the number of keywords that you want to utilize or that people are utilizing. So what is a keyword? A keyword is anything someone might type into Google looking for a particular service or product. So let's look at what a Google search might look like. I went over to my Google browser and typed in Nutritionist Gainesville, Florida. At the top of the page, when you do a search like this, you get a map pack. Obviously, more and more people are using these. The top three listed here are going to get the most traffic because it's super easy to use and everything's listed right away. The way to get into these top three is, one, you got to have one of these profiles. You need to have it filled out as much as possible. You need to have your name, address, and phone number listed in as many relevant directories on the web as possible. So that can be things like Yelp or Yellow Pages. Basically, the more times you have that happen, name, address, phone number, the more power it gives your profile. Every place you do that is considered a citation. And again, the idea is that your brand begins to be found by Google all over the internet. The larger that online presence is, the more Google trusts you. And actually, you are in the top two here, but you don't have any reviews, which is a critical feature of Google. And I know we talked about the fact that you've got two. My guess is, even though Google tried to combine some of this, they don't really allow the same address and phone number to covering the same area to coexist. And so one of these will most likely be suspended. I would not be surprised about that at all. So you need to figure out kind of which one you would like to have precedence, and then focus your attention on one of these. Now, but the map pack is obviously at the top. Now below that is what we have, what we call the organics. Now the organic just means not paid. And you can see that in here, this top one is really a directory. It's listing a bunch of nutritionists and dietitians. New Leaf Nutrition then is the first real result. Yelp is also a citation or a list. Health Grades is a list. University of Florida is kind of a list. And then you guys are the second real result there. Obviously, you're in the top three, which is great. You're going to be getting a lot of traffic from that. For people that are searching for Nutritionist Gainesville, Florida. Now, ideally, obviously, you want to be in the top three of both, and you are. So you're in the top two on the map, and you're in the second place on the organics. And when you're in that top three, you're seeing probably about the majority of the business, the majority of the clicks that people are searching for. Now, I went and have your website pulled up here. And I can tell it actually is really clean looking. It's got some good content. You've got some blogs coming in, which is great. Blogs are perfect for fresh content, and Google loves fresh content. But you do have a little bit of room. So when I plugged your content into just kind of a word counter, I can see that you've got 768 words. And again, the ideal threshold is going to be 1,500 to 2,000. So as we're looking at kind of redesigning, that's what you want to kind of keep in mind. And remember, your content is what allows you to really let Google know what you want to be found for. So you want to place keywords throughout that content. So because if you're a nutritionist in Gainesville, Florida, you want to make sure there is no doubt in Google's mind that that's what you are and where you are and what you do. Now, the other thing I like to do is look at your website kind of from a different lens, and with a tool that I use called RFs. It tries to kind of pull data similar to what Google is seeing. It's going to show me how much traffic your website is getting. I think I mentioned that you're getting about 103 unique visitors per month. And that is being driven from 693 keywords. Now, if I limit your to just kind of the home page, you're really not getting anything. So I need to kind of look at all of the pages to get to that traffic. So we definitely want to boost that home page. But to compare apples to apples, I'm going to look at all of those kind of subdomains and domains for you as well as some of your competitors. Now let's take a look and dive a little bit deeper into what those keywords actually are. So the top one is your name. So your name is actually being searched 50 times per month. You're in the #1 position for that, and you're getting 11 visits per month just for your name. Some of these other things, I mean, they are not necessarily what I would call a buyer intent kind of keyword. Like mild thinness, for example, relationship with food quiz. I mean, people are obviously looking for information deprived of food related to nutrition, but if someone's searching for Nutritionist Gainesville Fl, they are specifically looking for somebody who can help them with nutrition, probably because they live in that area. Well, Nutritionist Gainesville Fl, there are 70 people or 70 searches happening per month for that particular keyword. Now, you, according to this, are in the #1 spot for that. So that's great. So that is actually getting you 5 visits per month. Some of these other things, Nutritionist Gainesville, again, that's being searched 60 times. You're in the #1 spot. So you just want to continue to build upon those keywords that you're already using. Now let's take a look at what your competition. So here's the New Leaf Nutrition. They are, I think, the #1 organic, and they are also the #3 on the map. So if I look at them in the same kind of context, they are getting about 42 visits per month, and that is being driven from 57 keywords. And let's look at theirs. So New Leaf Nutrition, that's their name. Nutritionist Gainesville Fl, again, 70 searches. They're #5. That's getting them 9 visits per month. Gainesville Nutrition, Nutritionist Gainesville, they're #1 for that. That's being searched 60 times. Gainesville Nutrition. So all of these are different keywords. And so you want to make sure that you are pulling in everything that has some volume and that really represents your particular niche. Now, the other competitor was TracyBrownRD.com, and what really pulled up was her About page. But let's take a look at her entire domain. So she's getting 157 visits. That's being driven from 284 keywords. And we can see that a lot of that has to do with her name, and some of the other things that she does, and attuned to eating being one of them. Somatic coaching, so that's a big one. Somatic coaching, that is being searched 700 times per month. She's #17, which obviously you want to be in the top 10 if you can. That's still getting her 2 visits per month. So those are just kind of some things to keep in mind as we are rebuilding. Now, the last piece of the puzzle is what we call backlinks. So all a backlink is a clickable link from another website back to yours. These through hyperlink text. These links will act like an endorsement of your website from others, and Google uses that again to build trust in your business because it sees other businesses vouching for you. Now, not all links are created equal. Those relevant to your website or to your industry will count more, as will those that are local. And ideally, they should also be powerful in their own right. So that's the other thing I can see when I'm looking through the Ahrefs lens. So let's take a look. You have a number of backlinks coming in through a number of referring domains, but because they're not all created equal and Google kind of weights all of these links coming in, the thing that I really use to compare are these 2 scores here. These are on a scale of 0 to 100. DR really being how, for your domain, how powerful are those links coming in as a whole? And UR is more like how much does Google trust those links? So you're scoring it out of 30 on the domain as a whole, and I think part of that is being helped because you are on that Squarespace. So you're benefiting some from the fact that you're being hosted kind of in conjunction with a bunch of other sites. And so some of those links are coming in because of Squarespace. But related to your domain and the trustworthiness of the stuff coming into your domain, 1.6 is kind of where you sit. So there's definitely room for improvement there. And if we look over at New Leaf Nutrition, they're at a 1.2 and a 2.6, and the Tracy Brown is at 26. My guess is she's also part of kind of a web building space. And then UR is 1.4. So those are just all things to think about. One thing I did notice on your website is you want to take full advantage of any aspect of SEO that you can, including naming your pictures appropriately. So for example, if I look at this picture and I were to save this image just to see what it was named, I can see that it is named Amy Hirsch KOC8K0, unsplashed, that kind of thing. So it looks like it's probably a form picture or a stock photo, came from Pinterest possibly. But you want to make sure that if you're using pictures on your website that they are named the keywords so that it also can draw people in because of those keywords. Now, I did look into the Squarespace and the comparison between the 7.0 and the 7.1. And so from what I can tell, you actually cannot convert. You have to rebuild. So any sort of new website, and they are recommending that you do that, to move to 7.1 and take advantage of the different aspects of Squarespace, that has to be kind of completely redone. So that's something that would need to be looked at. It is not a matter of just kind of upgrading. No matter what you do, you're going to have to rebuild it. But what I was going to say is that once all of these things come together, your content, your backlinks, or your citations, that's when you begin ranking higher and higher. More customers find you. Looks like you're already doing pretty well on your own. I think most likely your site's going to need to be cleaned up. And when you have these old pages, they need to be correctly redirected to your new pages. Anyway, I hope this information has been helpful. Would love to hear some feedback on it. If you find yourself wanting to learn more or to talk more about this, let's go ahead and reach out and we can set up a time to chat with you. So my partner and I would chat with you and we'll figure out kind of what your goals are. And that way we can do research and figure out exactly what's going to be realistic for your business and what it's going to take to reach those goals. Again, my name is Lori with Soul Sisters Digital Design. My number is 352-235-9803. Talk to you soon.